Hi, Matt from Audio Workshop, and welcome to Wallace Mox Part 5. And today we're going to talk about intermodulation products, or IM products, or IM. And we're not going to go into technical depth on this because we'll all end up probably cross-eyed by the end of the video, but we are going to just take an overview of it so you have a basic understanding that this exists and this can be a potential issue in your wireless microphone systems setting up and function. So, intermodulation products refers to the interaction that can happen between two transmitters in close proximity, or more than two transmitters in close proximity. But if we take two as the example, when they're in close proximity, we actually find that they interact with each other in a way that generates additional frequencies. Now we're just going to talk about third order products today, but you can also get fifth order and so on. But third order are the strongest and usually the most destructive in terms of interference. So going back to our two transmitter example, suddenly we've got two transmitters transmitting their main carrier frequency, but we've now got a total of 4 frequencies being transmitted. If we add a third transmitter that's in close proximity to this equation, suddenly we've got 3 main carrier frequencies that are being transmitted and up to 9 third order intermodulation products. So if one of our receivers is tuned to one of those frequencies, then that's going to cause destructive interference. So it's really not a good thing. Now, if we add more the problem is exponential. And if we're looking at even 10 systems, we can be up around the thousands in terms of additional frequencies being transmitted in that space within that system. Now, some manufacturers combat this with set presets on their receivers, which we talked about yesterday, and on their transmitters, and they take this into account, and generally they space the channels apart by at least 25 kilohertz to avoid the third order IM products. But you can see that once we get into larger systems, and even over a few channels, I'm now classing as a larger system, we really need to factor in that that there are potential for intermod issues, and we really need to do some maths. Now, once upon a time, we used to have to use spreadsheets and work it out with crazy mathematical figures. Now there's software on the market from most of the key manufacturers that will take not only look at what's happening in the designated bandwidth, but also account for intermodulation products within the number of systems that you're using. So it's really handy if you're using multiple systems to get hold of some of these software programs that are going to give you a huge helping hand in making sure you're setting up a robust system. Now there's some other issues too. If we have a transmitter that's in close proximity to the receiver, which could be up to or anywhere between 0 and 5 meters, that can generate intermodulation products within the receiver, which is something that we don't want and adds again more complexity. And the other thing that can happen is when we have receivers close together, and I've seen a lot of cases where guys will stack their receivers one on top of each other, we can get the local oscillation from the receiver 1 interfering with receiver 2. Now if we add more receivers, then we've got a whole lot of local oscillators within the receivers potentially interfering with the other receivers. So one way of getting around this is to have an antenna combiner and 2 antenna in the space. Now they could be remotely mounted, for example, and suddenly we don't have that same receiver interaction because the receiver antennas aren't stacked on top of each other. Then there's some other things that stacking does, which we'll talk about in a video to come. But you can see that it's really important that not only do we understand how these things work, but how they work together to achieve a robust, trouble-free wireless system. So if you've got multiple channels and you're having issues, you can give me a call, 022-694-6425, or you can go on to our website, audioworkshop.co.nz, and you can contact us through there if you've got any questions. But thanks for watching. Tomorrow we're going to talk about digital wireless systems. We've covered analog, tomorrow's digital, and then the next video is going to be all about how to get the most out of your system now that we've covered some basic theory on how they work and how they work together. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow. Cheers. Bye.